to drop 65 seconds and win a race at the Penn relays. I mean, that's just unreal. You know, outside of a debut, you know. So the great performance there as we're into the first lap in 68 seconds of this collegiate men's 5,000 meters. So the college men 5K, or excuse me, this is the Olympic development section. Sorry, the college men's 5K, it looks like they broke up some heats. So they divided the collegiates into two sections here. So half of them you saw in the previous race, and now the second half of those athletes are here in this field. So out around 140 for the first 600 meters here. And we've got two from Cornell up front. We'll get an ID on these.
And it looks like headlining this field is going to be Christian Alvarado, Edward Wilson.
So hit 62. So we've got a combination of the athletes from the previous, you know, if you're looking in your program, it's a combination of the athletes from, there were 97 that they divided into two heats. So hit 62, David Taylor from Cornell is our early leader. And his teammate, and we'll get an ID on his teammate, that might be Dominic DeLuca, hit 65. So, I'm sorry, that's hit 40. Hit 40. Mark Tedder, we think, is in second place. So, as we get going and get rolling through this race, we'll lay these guys out and let you know who we've got. Zach Hamstra, hopefully he's motivated by his teammate Craig Lutz from Texas there as they hit the first 1,000 in 2:49. So, Zach is in third place. They're from Texas. So 3 out of the top 4 are from Cornell, and 5 out of the top 7 here are from the Ivy, with 2 from Columbia running in 5th and 7th. So from Columbia, that is Ben Eversole. Ben Eversole, a Bay Area, California Bay Area guy. Went to Castro Valley High as they hit 325. He was a sub-9 guy in high school. And that is Max Morris from Columbia, his teammate there in 7th. So Eversole, one of the top California runners a couple years back, Northern California guy, as we've got a bit of a breakout front. And Eversole did not run a lot of races in California at 10:15 at night when it was 40 degrees out. So let's see how he can handle this here. At this pace, Taylor, these guys are not running much slower than the previous heat. Actually, they might even be running a little bit faster.
And the last heat definitely went out a little slower than expected, I think.
And closed way faster than expected. Okay, so let's line them up here. So you've got hit 62, that is David Taylor. And Taylor coming up next to him, 61, that is Bakari Abishuk from NC State. So another from NC State as they hit 4:35, very similar pace to the first collegiate heat.
And 1 mile, 4:35.
And they're strung out 30 back there. So 3 from Cornell, 1 from Texas, 1 from NC State, and 2 from Columbia. Those are your leaders through the first 1,700 meters. And you can start to see some separations occurring, but the main group is still pretty strong as NC State's Bakari Abishuk, I hope I'm saying that right, now assumes the lead. Ben Eversole now gets into second place for Columbia, or third place, excuse me, and he's followed by Dominic DeLuca from Cornell. So DeLuca and Eversole have been part of that lead group. Ebersol moves his way into second place. And there are a string of 8 or 9 there, but I'm getting the feeling that a pack of 4 are starting to form. Iversook's still the leader. Chase Weaverling from Virginia moves into 4th.
Yeah, he's there. What's those light blue jerseys? Is that?
Chase Weaverling now part of that group. And now Ebersol goes to the front.
What school is that?
So this is the second of 3 men's 5Ks this evening. And again, it's section 2 of the men's collegiate section. So 2 sections of men's collegiate, 1 Olympic development. And now Ebersol, still our leader here. So 2,600 meters in. So we're just past halfway of this race. Ebersol leads the charge that not a lot of guys are off the back here in this race. So still over half of the field is within contact. That includes hit 93, also part of the group, Daniel Dennis from Stony Brook. He sits in 6th place, but definitely part of things. In addition to hip 85, Mick Ikefani from Kentucky. And a handful again from Kentucky in this race. And we said if our Longhorn was inspired, well, the Kentucky Wildcats better be inspired also, because that was one of the best distance performances in that school's history.
Now you don't see that many, Kentucky's not really known to be a long distance powerhouse. It's more known for, sprints and multi-events, frankly. You don't really see, at least on the men's side, recent years, Callie McCumber came out of Kentucky, but definitely a breakout performance.
Now Ebersol moves back in front of DeLuca, and Weaverling from West Virginia, so from Virginia, 9:17 at 3,200, and Ebersol decides that it's now his turn to try to get a regional qualifier, and 9:17 is too slow, for where they're in the 14:20 range, and he's got to get this thing going a little bit.
9:17.
And that definitely breaks things open. So Ebersol commits himself to a hard charging last mile here. And he's going to hit about 9:50 with 4 to go. So 9:49, call it 9:50 with 4 to go. So if he can turn 65s here as it becomes a little more breezy, that'll get him in the 14:10 range. So these guys are just on the outside of that, thinking about regional.
Nice fade.
They're going to need something real big here to get into the regional conversation. Ebersol, DeLuca, Weaverling, Dukes, Stephen Shine. Stephen Shine from Duke now in 4th. So Shine trying to latch on to that group. Last lap wasn't particularly fast either. So while Ebersol broke away a little bit, the pace wasn't much under 70 on that last lap. So Shine starts to get around the group, gets around DeLuca just a bit, Eversol back to the front, 11:38, 11:39 at 2K. Now that group of 4 is together. DeLuca, Weaverling, Shine with Eversol up front. Abishuk from NC State trying to reconnect. He's in 5th. He's got that gap to Shine. And now Eversol throws in another burst to try to get this pace going. He's going to be at 2 laps to go at 12:10. 12:10, 2 laps to go. So definitely kind of in the 14:20 range. Just not a lot of help out there for Eversol as he's kind of pulling his wagon along here, and now he creates some separation at 7:50. But it's Eversol trying to get away. These guys' teammates there giving him a yell, and nobody's quite responding with Eversol. So I can see a bit of a strain on him where it's not a comfortable move, but he knows he's got to make it to force the pace. Eversol hits 600 meters at 12:47.
And Eversol coming up on 500 to go, made a big move heading into this final portion of the race, and definitely knows he has to get the job done. Needs that regional qualifying mark. Got to run in the 14-minute range and under to be safe, and we are into the bell lap. Penn Eversol has broken this race open and see if anyone responds and goes with him. As of right now, this is his race unless someone makes a dramatic move. We are 13:36, 13:37, 13:38 going into about 300 meters to go. Penn Eversol, also coming off of a big 10K performance at Stanford Invite, 29:47 at Stanford, is returned to throw down this 5K. He is looking like he's going to take the win here. Just a little under 150 meters to go. This is Penn Eversol's race. Coming around, 100 meters to go. Got to dig deep. Bring this race home. And we are at 14:17, 14:18, 14:19, 14:20, 14:22, 41 unofficially for Penn Eversol, Columbia. 14:22, 37 official time. And Shine from Duke, 14:24, 68 for second. And DeLuca gets third from Cornell, 14:25, 66. And Abishuk, NC State, 14:26, 51. Rounds out your top 4. Weaverling from Virginia, 14:27, 26. Dennis from Stony Brook, 14:28, 16. Norris from Columbia, 14:29, 99. Rounds out the top finishers.
So Eversol did all the work to get to 14:22.
Oh yes. Threw down a good kick. No one responded.
14:33.
It was all Eversol taking that heat.